SCP-4645. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-4645 is currently contained in an electromagnetically sealed observation room in Site-15. Every 4 days, a Mirren digital mnemohazard is to be installed into SCP-4645. SCP-4645 must always be under watch by at least one researcher or guard from 7 AM until the SCP-46451 instance is generated, upon which it is to be recorded and sent immediately to the site director. If the site director deems the recorded threat to be of significant danger, it is to be sent to the O5 Council, which will vote on whether or not to meet its demand. Under no other circumstances are SCP-4645's demands to be met. Due to its targeted attacks on Foundation operations, SCP-4645 is designated and treated as a Gavura class disruption. Description: SCP-4645 is a Site-15 standard computer terminal, with the exception of being able to run indefinitely without a consistent power supply or proper maintenance, as well as its primary anomalous abilities. SCP-4645 functions as a standard computer of its type and has shown no signs of any anomalous origins or tampering. Every day between 7 AM and noon, SCP-4645 generates an instance of SCP-46451. 46451 is a Foundation text editor document. 46451 consists of 2 parts: the demand and the threat, and is formatted as follows. To the SCP Foundation, I am demanding that demand. If my demand is not met, then threat. Good day. Due to the first-person phrasing of the SCP-46451 instance, as well as the reactions it has shown to some external stimuli, it is theorized that SCP-4645 is sentient, although there is no definite proof that any form of sentience in regards to it exists. SCP-4645 has so far made no attempts at communication with personnel, nor has it shown any response to active attempts at communicating with it. SCP-46451's demands are usually actions that would be heavily detrimental to the Foundation, result in extreme losses of life, require inordinate amounts of expense or effort to complete, or cause a major change in the general world order. Examples have included executing members of the O5 Council, see image above, or other valuable Foundation personnel. The release of various SCP objects, placing the Foundation under the command of various groups or persons of interest, the overthrow of various world governments. Additionally, the demand consists of a deadline, always between 5 PM to 10 PM. In contrast, all of SCP-4645's threats have been comically benign in comparison, and are never any more than the minor annoyances. Examples of threats have included the closing of Site-15's solid bar for an entire day, all personnel stubbing their toe at least once throughout the day, extremely poor internet connection, various utilities failing. SCP-4645 is also capable of targeting individuals with threats. However, its influence has not been seen to extend beyond Site-15. Of note is that both threats and demands have been repeated in some cases, suggesting that there may be some methodology or goal to SCP-4645's actions. Whether this is the result of SCP-4645's possible sentience or the design of a third party is unknown. If SCP-4645's demands are not met by the established deadline, the text of the SCP-46451 instance changes to simply read, "Time's up." At midnight, the SCP-46451 instance is deleted. The following day, a new SCP-4645-A event is initiated, wherein the threat given by SCP-4645 is always fulfilled either throughout or at some point during the day, depending on the nature of the threat. No attempts at controlling or halting threats have succeeded, and the event cycle has been taking place for as long as the Foundation has been researching SCP-4645. Addendum 46451. Following an SCP-4645-A event that reset all Foundation terminals to factory settings, researcher Ferris Jaeger entered SCP-4645's containment and proceeded to smash SCP-4645 with a sledgehammer, yelling obscenities and curses as he did so. Guards were able to quickly detain him, but not before he had damaged SCP-4645. Following the incident, it was discovered that SCP-4645 was able to transplant itself into the nearest Foundation computer terminal at the time. The computer terminal retained the ability to run without a power supply, but was subsequently moved into SCP-4645's initial containment unit. Notably, aside from the changes in the anomalous properties and behavior, no physical changes were found in the affected computer terminal. For 34 days after the incident, SCP-4645 demanded various forms of punishment for researcher Jaeger, including his execution, several methods of torture, being contained with a variety of Keter-class anomalies, or imposing similar punishments on members of his family. Addendum 46452. As of the 18th of June 2018, the danger of SCP-4645's threats is increased slightly yet noticeably. Currently, this is regarded as a low priority issue. Addendum 46453. On August 11th, 2018, it was discovered that SCP-4645's range of effect had been growing at a rate of approximately 1 meter per day. Additionally, its threat level had increased dramatically. Of note is that its demands have remained fairly consistent in spite of its ever-growing threat. Addendum 46454. Beginning on the 4th of September 2018, SCP-4645 has begun to cause actively harmful SCP-4645-A events. Examples of new threats include researcher Yvonne Ferris being hit by a car, breaking both of her legs and multiple ribs, influenza outbreak within Site-15, gas leak explosion resulting in 9 injuries. 2 personnel ended up suffering permanent damage. Due to its ever-increasing threat level, SCP-4645 has been reclassified as Keter, and research is underway to determine a method to neutralize the object. Addendum 46455. Neutralization attempts. The following is a log of attempts to neutralize SCP-4645 or its effects. Neutralization attempt 46451. Method: relocation of SCP-4645 to a remote destination. SCP-4645 was placed in a waterproof container to prevent it being damaged and was lowered to the bottom of the ocean. SCP-4645 was left open with a camera facing the monitor to record its behavior. Result: failure. SCP-46451 instance was generated, followed by the corresponding SCP-4645-A event. Notably, the SCP-4645-A event still took place in Site-15, suggesting that its effects are centered at Site-15 regardless of its own location. Neutralization attempt 46452. Method: temporary evacuation of Site-15. All anonymous objects were transported out of Site-15. Result: failure. Subsequent SCP-4645-A effect centered at Site-58, where the majority of Site-15 personnel were located. Neutralization attempt 46453. Method: controlled electromagnetic pulse, isolated within SCP-4645's containment unit. Result: failure. SCP-4645 remained powered during and after the pulse. Neutralization attempt 46454. Method: infection of SCP-4645 and its anomalous traits using SCP-560. Result: failure. SCP-560 remained within its storage medium and did not attempt to access SCP-4645. The reason for this is unknown. Addendum 46456. The following proposal was submitted to the site director on the 20th of November 2018 from senior researcher Andrea Marin. With the continually growing danger of SCP-4645, we've been slowly realizing that it could be impossible for SCP-4645 to be completely neutralized. At its current rate, SCP-4645 may be capable of causing a K-class scenario within the next year. Certainly, it has warranted our complete attention. What once was little more than a mild annoyance in something that could easily go unobserved to the point where it would hardly seem to exist, it has now demanded that we focus on it. Whether it wants us to keep observing it or if it has greater goals in mind remains unsolved, but regardless, we cannot afford to ignore it. Soon enough, it may be more threatening than we can handle. However, we may have had a breakthrough. Up until now, it's been assumed that SCP-4645 was capable of doing more powerful things because its power was somehow growing. But there may be another answer. One standing theory is that SCP-4645 is sentient and that there's some kind of intelligence inside it, rather than a randomly generated sequence of threats and demands. It's entirely possible that the reason SCP-4645 has been increasing its threat level is that it's learning, that it's trying to know the exact limit at which we'll meet its demands. If it's learning like we believe, then destroying its memories would place it back where it began. Even though we can't delete its memories like with a conventional computer, its sapience may mean that it's susceptible to memetics. Our team is currently working to develop a digital mnemohazard, one that would cause SCP-4645 to forget everything that it had learned. It would still have an effect, but it would be reduced to its former state of mild annoyance. As long as the mnemohazard was frequently installed, SCP-4645 could never return to being a significant threat. The proposal was accepted, and on the 29th of November 2018, the Mirren digital mnemohazard was developed and installed in the SCP-4645. The subsequent SCP-4645 instance reads as follows. To the SCP Foundation, I am demanding that Sites 01, 07, 17, and 19 be demolished with all of their residents and workers inside by 9 PM today. If my demand is not met, then the Minecraft accounts of everyone in Site 15 will be deleted. Good day. Special containment procedures were updated and SCP-4645 were classified as Euclid. SCP-560. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-560 is to be kept on a Foundation archival quality optical storage medium at least a blank gigabytes in size. This medium should be accessed at least once per month using the standalone desktop computer within SCP-560's containment unit. After the computer ceases to function, the medium should be placed in a shock-proof case, specification blank. Pursuant to Foundation Secure Wipe protocols, the blank drive should be discarded through civilian avenues and replaced with a wipe-ready drive from Site blank Research. Testing on workstations with any network access or removable media other than SCP-560 storage unit is prohibited by Level 4 order. Description: SCP-560 is the digital life form of indeterminate origin. Viewed through a binary or hex editor, SCP-560 appears as a pattern of bits which travels throughout the data structure of the storage medium it occupies. Analysis of SCP-560's bit structure is ongoing. SCP-560 behaves similarly to certain kinds of malicious software. Before the Foundation's discovery of the life form in blank, amateur researchers on the blank message boards had discovered a pattern in the appearance of the creature's spent data, attributing it to a particularly prolific virus. Rather than administer amnestics, Foundation personnel removed SCP-560 and allowed the board to continue their project. The message board recently celebrated their blank anniversary of investigation into SCP-560. When introduced into a digital habitat, SCP-560 begins processing the contents of the storage medium. It is currently hypothesized that the life form metabolizes data in a manner similar to amoeba, engulfing data within itself and excreting corrupted images, text files, executables, videos, and sound files. This corruption proceeds gradually on each individual file as the lifeform moves from file to file while feeding. SCP-560 shows a preference for files containing sensitive data. Dr. Blank theorizes that encrypted, compressed, or high-density data provides SCP-560 with a large amount of metabolic energy. This preference makes it ideal for use in Foundation secure wipe protocols. Unlike a computer virus, SCP-560 does not deposit copies of itself in corrupted files. Current speculation is that SCP-560 reproduces through redacted. However, as there are no extant redacted. As SCP-560's feeding process proceeds, it consumes data at an exponential rate, its feeding efficiency increasing in tandem with the amount of data consumed. After wiping a storage medium, SCP-560 enters a cryptobiotic state. Given a tiny amount of information, SCP-560 can survive indefinitely. SCP-560 was contained by Foundation personnel during an engineered failure of Blank's content servers on April blank. The organism entered its cryptobiotic state and was successfully retrieved shortly thereafter. Given the recent redacted, any leak of information pertaining to SCP-560 is punishable by summary termination. Addendum: viewing of materials corrupted by SCP-560 on a 3D capable television or through stereoscopic or polarized glasses is prohibited. 053. Revision: blank. This includes 3D capable video game systems. 053. SCP-5295. Containment Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-5295-A has been rendered permanently non-functional via disconnection from SCP-5295-B. It has been remanded to the custody of the Chief of Identity and Technocryptography at Site-43. As the file structure of both SCP-5295-A and B is pharmacological in nature, no files originating from either may be transferred to any device except under strict supervision by INT personnel. Research into the origins or functionality of SCP-5295-A is forbidden by order of the O5 Council. Description: SCP-5295-A is a 1993 Apple Macintosh LC3 personal computer formerly used by the Identity and Technocryptography section of Site-43 between 1993 and 1996. After a series of costly hard disk failures, INT Chief Rudolph Marquin arranged the upgrade of the site's network of computers with a mass purchase of LC3 models in the year of their release, heavily customized by INT personnel to suit Foundation needs. SCP-5295-A was Chief Marquin's own personal computer. SCP-5295-B is a Model M0135 Apple Macintosh 20MB external hard disk containing files previously associated with SCP-5295-A. It was received by Chief Marquin as a Christmas gift from junior technician Eileen Vixar in 1994. SCP-5295-A behaves as a typical machine of its model. Its anomalous properties are more apparent when an application entitled Total Area Network, or TAN, is activated. This application presents the user with a series of prompts, appearing one after the other until a sufficient level of granular detail is achieved to proceed. Device ID, country, subregion, region, municipality, street address, room. Completing this prompt chain enables the user to access any Macintosh LC3 computer anywhere on Earth, so long as it's presently active. After selecting their preferred machine, the user must wait for that machine's owner to deactivate it. The owner will be confronted with the following modified version of their device's shutdown screen. The alterations will typically escape their notice. You may not switch off your Macintosh safely. Once its target is deactivated, SCP-5295-A will restart, and TAN will then allow it to access the target's file structure as though the two machines were connected by a local area network. TAN functions even when SCP-5295-A is not itself connected to any network, and even when the target device is completely disconnected from all power sources. Any files accessed by SCP-5295-A will become heavily corrupted on the target machine. This corruption entails the insertion of a series of junk values in the said files, rendering them unreadable. Addendum 52951 Incident Report. The following document describes the circumstances leading to the Foundation's discovery and containment of SCP-5295. Final Report. SCP-5295 Nur Zapman, Chief, Hiring and Regulation Section, SCP Foundation Lake Huron, Research and Containment Site 43. Preface. This report was prepared at the behest and under the auspice of the SCP Foundation Ethics Committee. Summary. The Identity and Technocryptography section of Site 43 has evolved to all outward appearances into a tightly knit and clannish enclave not inconsistent with cabals of computer programmers and information technology personnel the world over. However, covert investigation has revealed a far less pleasant explanation for the section's high esprit de corps. INT was a relatively small section when Chief Marquin took over in 1985 during the personal computer boom. As the Foundation's computing needs increased, particularly in this case to service the vast historical database housed at Site 43, Chief Marquin's responsibilities expanded significantly, and he had handpicked a group of talented technicians to help him with his work. Hiring and regulation reviews of his staff from this period described the chief as a detached, cold, and laser-focused individual with a reputation for hard discipline. 8 years later, coinciding with the replacement of most personal computers in the site with Macintosh LC3 models, Chief Marquin's staff described him as a warm, parental, and fostering a positive work environment at INT. I recall flagging this dramatic shift for review in the H&R database. No record of this flag now exists, following critical corruption of said database in early 1994. The only exception to this trend of positivity was the suicide of Chief Marquin's executive assistant, Arnold Villas, in July of 1994. Villas broke into Marquin's office, attempted to gain access to the chief's personal computer, and then hanged himself. Security and Containment Section review detected no irregularities in the conduct of INT's personnel, and Villas's death was ruled the product of snapping under stress. In early 1996, junior technician Eileen Vixar approached me with a request to seize Chief Marquin's personal computer and search it for sensitive and confidential material which she claimed he had been acquiring from his staff since 1993. She specifically requested that her accusation be logged in the H&R database and that both Chief Marquin and herself be named. This was done, and after a brief consultation with the site director and all sections chief, I proceeded to Chief Marquin's office to confiscate the offending device. Chief Marquin was found frantically attempting to activate his personal computer. When I arrived with 2 security agents, he briefly attempted to escape by remotely deactivating the lights in his office through unclear means. He was successfully detained, however, because technician Vixar had remained in the outer hallway and struck his spectacles hard enough to break the glass. After treatment at Health and Pathology, Chief Marquin consented to the following interview. Date: the 6th of January, 1996. Investigating Officer N. Zaman, Chief, Hiring and Regulation. Do you know why we've detained you? Because I got lens glass on my ocular implants. You know, we weren't even aware that you had ocular implants. I don't know how to respond to that politely. Yes, I've heard you're quite impolite. Until 1993, when you apparently became the sweetest boss in the world. Care to explain that? I read one of those management books. Really changed my outlook. Things will go more smoothly for you if you cooperate. I haven't done anything wrong. That little bitch, Vixar, however, somehow destroyed a valuable piece of INT equipment. She's going to find herself she's been promoted to field technician, actually. What? For capturing a Max Wallace agent and recovering almost 50 megabytes of stolen confidential data. Silence on recording. I'm surprised you didn't make a full-on artificial intelligence. An anomalous computer seems so low-key for you people. You wouldn't say that if you had to make an operating system operating on pharmacological principles that still look like it's running on Mac System 7 at a glance. Perhaps, well, one thing bothers me. Only one? Somebody cynical. Why did you include a TEL in the total area network application? A what? TEL? You may not switch off your Macintosh safely. Chief Marquin stares at Zaman for a moment, then bursts into laughter. So that's what old Villas was up to in my office, before he put on his necktie. I didn't notice any code changes, but that's such a tiny one. He helped me with the magic, you know. Of course you don't know, he's not even on record as a thaumaturge with you idiots. Anyway, I'd had him in my pocket for years before I dreamed up this scheme with the LC freeze. We're the idiots, but you missed the altered code? Guess I'm not as detail oriented as I thought. That would explain your present circumstances. Fair play. So how did you get the machine working again? Why would I tell you that? Because even if you can turn the thing on, you don't know how to decrypt my files. Are you offering a trade? Yeah. Don't feed me to the lizard, or whatever it is you do with traders, and tell me somehow snot-nosed script kiddie was able to fuck me over this bad, and I'll give you enough intel to fill 2 LC-free hard disks. Chief Zaman rises from the table, walks to the door, and opens it. Come on in. Technician Viscar enters the room. She does not sit down. Afraid I'll bite? Can't be too careful with a Hummer, they tell me. And yet you crossed me. Can't be a hacker without a code, boss. I went with the don't fuck people over one. I always liked the other one better, so how did you do it? I figured you'd be scanning the database for any mention of you, in case one of your blackmail targets bit back. So I had Chief Zaman name drop us both. Figured you'd then try to access the site's security system and make good your escape. Of course, that anomalous program of yours would require you to restart your computer. Didn't turn back on though, did it? I got one of those LC frees for my birthday in '93, along with a bunch of floppies. Do you know, if you copy the system folder onto one, then delete it from the hard disk, you can't boot the machine afterwards without the floppy? I figured, well, why not shove a few of your spooky weird files onto that external drive? See if the same principle applies. You always keep it plugged in anyway. I figured you'd never notice. Technician Viscar brandishes SCP-5295-B. I guess this is a part of the anomaly now, so I better go turn it over. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Rudy. Technician Viscar surrendered SCP-5295-B to security and containment on the condition that he be permanently remanded to the custody of Area 06. Chief Marquin provided decryption keys allowing access to the log files on SCP-5295-A. Representative excerpts from his extensive diaries follow. Michael's lucky break with this guy. Checked out the Site-01 database on a whim. Turns out he came to Canada from Chicago on witness protection. Pissed off some anomalous gangsters. Didn't even know they still had those. Anyway, great leverage. Horn. I don't know where he got those images, but they're kind of illegal. Even the Foundation doesn't forgive you for. I own him now. Iqbal. Took a gander in the GOC files. They think he's dead. He will be, if I tell them. Agent, you're going to make this job go so much smoother. Villas. Too bad. Great hacker. Couldn't have built this baby without him. Guess he felt guilty. Surprised somebody who was already selling info to the Hand would suddenly develop a moral compass. I wonder what they thought he'd do to him. Something worse than death by hanging, apparently. Wish he'd done the deed in his own office. Turlock. The moment I give this idiot network access, he tries to use it to look up files above his clearance level. I'll bet he thought he was so clever, unplugging his computer every night. Magic computer doesn't care at Turlock. Evelina. The lady wants to be a Max Wallace herself, and guess who's the only computer in the site that can access the church's holy database? Tit for tat, Cassandra. Vixar. She's got a boyfriend off-site, and she's teaching him crypto shit. What an idiot. She'll fold like a card table rather than report that to the director. I'll wager. I own you too, beautiful. It was found that Chief Marquin had compromised more than half of the technicians in this section by either accumulating blackmail material or providing them with anomalously sourced benefits, all for the use of SCP-5295-A. He refused to reveal the means by which he had accomplished this feat and was transferred to Site-06 as agreed upon, along with 7 members of his team. Of the remaining 29, 18 were considered security risks and menacized, greatly reducing the effectiveness of INT. A comprehensive overview of the site's security protocols and attempts to judge the severity of Chief Marquind's information breach took over 7 months. It was found that as the TAN application is unable to write anything but junk data to its targets, Marquind had not yet transmitted his cache of information to the Church of Maxwellism. During this time, Technician Vixar submitted the following request to Chief Nancy Briggs, Marquind's successor. Sir, SCP-5295-A and B must be decommissioned. Chief Marquind's actions enabled by this device almost supplied detailed tactical information to a hostile group of interest that were nearly enough to completely wipe out our section. Even in the hands of a trustworthy operative, SCP-5295 represents too great a security risk and too serious a moral temptation. We're better than this. While decommissioning was not approved, Briggs secured O5 approval to render SCP-5295-A inoperative by instead destroying SCP-5295-B. The computer no longer boots, and 3 months of sustained study by INT were unable to devise a workaround. The anomaly was therefore classified to continue in the present special containment procedure put in place. Update 1996, February 12th. Technician Viscar was provided with a non-anomalous model M0135 Apple Macintosh 20MB external hard drive to destroy. Chief Briggs was instructed to retain custody of both SCP-5295-A and B for use under future circumstances dictated by the O5 Council. Her eventual successor will be briefed on B's continued existence and the sensitivity of this information to ensure the continuance of these duties. Falsified information stating that SCP-5295-A can only access Macintosh LC-free computers has been added to the database file for security purposes. Addendum 52952 Final Update. As of 2021, the present Chief of Identity and Techno-Cryptography, Eileen Vixar, has custody of this anomaly and is fully briefed on all duties relating thereof. SCP-5228 Object Class Formal. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-5228 is kept inside a high-value storage unit in Site-15. The unit is to remain locked and the combination is to be changed bi-weekly. Only personnel with Level 3 security clearance or above are allowed access to SCP-5228. SCP-5228 is not to be used except for testing purposes. SCP-5228-A is to be kept in an observation room at sub-basement level 2 of Site-15. It is to remain physically connected to Site-15's computer network via wires from a terminal to the center of the object. SCP-5228-A is presently under 24/7 video surveillance. 2 technicians are kept on standby in the event of a terminal malfunction. MTF Sigma 458 Noble Forks is tasked with direct containment and operation of SCP-5228-A, with utensils, plates, and napkins to be provided upon request. Description: SCP-5228 is a cheese pizza measuring 40 centimeters in diameter. SCP-5228's toppings include pepperoni, peppers, olives, onions, dragon fruit, chocolate, cow tongue, cough medicine, and steak grilled sliders. SCP-5228 maintains a constant internal temperature of 60 Celsius and has shown no signs of spoilage during the duration of its containment. SCP-5228 is located within a pizza box belonging to the Spicy Crust Pizzeria chain. Separation of SCP-5228 from the box has been proven unfeasible as the strands of cheese connecting both objects are apparently indestructible. When the box is opened, SCP-5228 will mimic the functions of a laptop computer. The underside of the lid will first display a printed image of a circular arrow rotating in a clockwise motion. This occurs for a period ranging from 30 seconds up to 1 minute, after which the arrow will be replaced by a graphical user interface. This interface features the Spicy Crust Pizzeria logo in the center, with 5 icons on the left side of the lid. These icons are activated through the use of the image of a cursor. The cursor can be manipulated via the insertion of the connector of a computer mouse into one of the 2 holes on the right side of the box. The cursor's movements is limited to the confines of the lid. Below is a list of the icons found on SCP-5228's lid. Flatword, represented by the letter A on a slanted rectangle with several vertical wavy lines above it, functions identically to a word processing application. Input is accomplished by pressing the toppings on SCP-5228. When the print command is activated, the nearest printer to SCP-5228 will be accessed and will print what was typed. Breadbox, represented by a slice of garlic bread within an envelope, functions identically to an email client. Email addresses can be added to the address box but cannot be deleted. Messages sent will be received as a non-anomalous email communication. This communication appears to be one way, as replies are not received by SCP-5228. Pasta Panic, represented by an overhead view of a stylized plate of spaghetti with an eyeball in the center. When this icon is activated, the interface changes to a startup screen. When the start option is selected, SCP-5228 can be used to play a first-person video game. Players will find themselves in the ruins of an abandoned village and will be tasked with surviving for a predetermined period of time against a variety of needle-based enemies. Wing Shop, represented by a rooster holding a paintbrush in its beak, functions identically to a raster graphics editor. By inserting a flash drive into the second hole on the box, the user can access images and edit them. All images are faithfully recreated by SCP-5228. All changes made will be saved to the flash drive. The most noteworthy icon is SliceNet, represented by a slice of pizza rotating around the Earth at high speed. This icon activates a web browser capable of accessing the internet, as well as remotely accessing any computer or data storage system. It can bypass any security lock, negate any alarm notifications, and defy attempts to trace and access. These abilities only function when SCP-5228 is within 50 meters of a computer or data storage device. Addendum 52281 Recovery, September 17th, 2010. SCP-5228 was recovered from a server room during a raid on a Chaos Insurgency base in Tarbaj, Kenya. SCP-5228 was found resting on a pedestal in the center of multiple paired rings and symbols of thaumaturgic origin. A flash drive was found near the anomaly. Decryption of its contents revealed classified documents belonging to the Foundation and other groups of interest. Notes recovered from the base indicate that SCP-5228 was used by the Chaos Insurgency in a long-term operation to assist in coordinating attacks, and was meant to help establish an intelligence racketeering ring. While it remains unknown how the Chaos Insurgency came into possession of SCP-5228, it had been concluded that the symbols surrounding it during recovery were based on Spedy-class thaumaturgy, as the pizza box used to create SCP-5228 was an object directly associated with the Foundation. It has been theorized that its anomalous properties allowed it covert access to SCIPnet. Security measures were put in place to prevent such a scenario from reoccurring. Addendum 52282 Project Delivery. On November 22nd, 2014, It became apparent that the computer networks of many Foundation sites were deficient in the areas of protection against cyber-related threats, anomalous and non-anomalous, and the storage of extensive data recorded since the organization's founding. Meetings were held by high-clearance personnel to find solutions to these issues before they became critical. The director of Site 15, Carlos Mendez, drafted a proposal detailing the potential use of SCP-5228 to improve the site's computer networks. This proposal was sent to the O5 Council, and by a vote of 7-4, the measure passed. The resultant operation was codenamed Project Delivery. Over 2 years of modification via thaumaturgy, paratechnological implications, and cross-testing with other SCP objects, Project Delivery culminated in the creation of SCP-5228-A. SCP-5228-A was then connected to Site 15's computer network for a test of its capabilities. Though this action was initially met with skepticism, SCP-5228-A proved a highly valuable asset for Site 15. It requires no electricity to operate and has reduced energy costs by 30%, offers vast storage capabilities without any known limit, and can compute data faster and more accurately than the world's most powerful quantum computer. After Project Delivery was deemed a success, MTF Sigma 458 was formed and tasked with protecting SCP-5228 and SCP-5228-A, as well as surveying Site 15's network for any irregularities and to act as a safeguard against cyber attacks. SCP-5228-A is a pizza measuring 3.5 meters in diameter. SCP-5228-A was originally plain cheese, but upon the discovery that the application of a wide variety of toppings increases its anomalous capabilities and causes the appearances of new applications, SCP-5228-A was modified to include pepperoni, onions, bacon, olives, basil, peppers, ham, anchovies, breath mints, vanilla pudding, Viagra, ice cream, additional slices of pizza, and pineapple. SCP-5228-A retains the same physical anomalies as SCP-5228, with the exception that any portion removed from it will regenerate after a period of 5 seconds. While consuming SCP-5228-A, subjects report receiving visions and hallucinations related to SCP-15's computer network. In this state, subjects can mentally traverse across the network via links on the files. Testing has confirmed that subjects can witness attempts to hack and infect the network with malware in real time, and can coordinate with SCP-5228-A to eliminate these threats without significant delay. Affected subjects can also fully control any non-anomalous electronic device by making physical contact with their tongue. All anomalies cease when digestion is complete. Addendum 52283. Complications. Following reports that more than half of MTF Sigma 458 has become obese and lethargic, it is being advised that task force members be rotated on a regular basis. Mandatory exercise regimes are also advised. Members of MTF Sigma 458 has also reported a severe aversion to cheese after long-term consumption of SCP-5228-A. Research on whether this is the result of an anomalous effect or not is ongoing.